evening. Thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. My name is Mr. Murillo. I have the pleasure of being the drama teacher here, one of them with Miss Lloyd. This is the first ensemble performance in about 2 years. And I don't know if you guys know this, but when the pandemic kicked in, we were mid-production in one of our plays. And so we haven't had a real performance on the stage for quite some time. We had Chico's Monsters, of course, but for a lot of these students, this is their first time performing in quite a while. So we're so happy to have you here. When the pandemic kicked in, we were exploring kinds of theater that can work distanced, and it turned out radio plays was one very fun way to do that. Right now, we're trying to replicate for you an old 1940s radio play with the actors on stage with the sound effects, live music. Hope you guys enjoy, because like I said, our students have been wanting to perform for a while, and here's our chance. So thank you so much for being here tonight, and please enjoy It's a Wonderful Life.
Greetings from Port Orchard, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, we bring you one of the season's most inspiring hits, It's a Wonderful Life. This is the story of George Bailey, citizen of Bedford Falls, New York. George Bailey, who, more than anything under the sun, wanted to see the world. Oddly enough, this story does not begin in Bedford Falls. In fact, it doesn't begin anywhere in the world. It begins in heaven, where the superintendent of angels has just summoned an apprentice angel named Clarence.
Oh, I'm really going down to Earth, sir? Oh, how splendid.
Yes, there's a very discouraged man down there, Clarence, George Bailey. At exactly 10:45 p.m. Earth time, he'll be thinking seriously of ending his life.
Oh, dear. His life?
Now I want you to stop him. Now sit down. I'll give you Bailey's case history.
Sir, if I should accomplish my mission, may I perhaps get my wings? I've been waiting over 200 years.
Well, you do a good job on George Bailey, and we'll see about your wings.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Now listen. When George Bailey was a boy, his young brother Harry fell through the ice and almost drowned. George saved him.
Brother fell through the ice. George saved him.
Ever since, George has had a bad ear. All that icy water. You understand?
Bad ear? Yes, sir.
The other event came a few months later. George used to work after school in Mr. Gower's drugstore. One day, Mr. Gower's only son died of influenza. Poor Mr. Gower tried to lose his grief in whiskey.
Where you been, George? Miss Blaine's called twice. What happened to her prescription? You lost it, didn't ya?
No, Mr. Gower, here it is.
Why, you good for nothing? Don't you know that Blaine's girl's very sick?
Mr. Gower, my ear! You're hurting my sore ear.
I'll teach you to loaf, you lazy brat!
Mr. Gower, you don't know what you're doing. You put something in those capsules.
Shut up!
Mr. Gower, look, this bottle you use. This bottle to make up the capsules. It's poison.
Poison?
It's why I didn't deliver, Mr. Gower.
Poison? Oh, George.
Well, Clarence, that was George Bailey as a boy. When he grew up, he wanted to go to college, but there just wasn't the money. So, he worked 4 years in the Building and Loan Association.
Building and Loan Association?
George's father was in the building and loan business. George worked for his father and saved enough to see him through the university. That summer, though, he was going to Europe.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. It's hard to realize it's my last night at the Bailey boarding house.
Well, we're sure gonna miss you, George.
I'm gonna miss you too, Pop. Hey, what's the matter? You look tired.
Oh, had another tussle with old Henry Potter today.
Oh, I thought when you put him on the board of directors, he'd ease up.
So did I.
I just can't understand a man like Mr. Potter. He can't begin to spend all the money he has.
I guess Potter owns everything in Bedford Falls, except our building and loan. That's why he hates us.
Hey, George, can I borrow your tuxedo stud?
Yeah, help yourself, Harry.
Where'd you get that suitcase, anyway?
Mr. Gower, going away present. And one of these days, you're gonna see that bag all covered with travel labels. Italy, and Baghdad, and Gorst.
You're gonna have a pretty full summer, huh?
I'm gonna have a pretty full life.
Hey, why don't you come to the dance tonight?
What? And be bored to death?
Well, you couldn't want a better death. Lots of pretty girls.
I wish we could send Harry to college with you, George.
We've got that all figured out now, Pop. He'll take over my job at the building and loan, work 4 years like I did, then he'll go.
George, when you get out of college, I don't suppose you'd come back to the building and loan.
No, now, Pop, I just couldn't. I couldn't face being cooped up the rest of my life in a shabby little office.
In that shabby little office, we help people figure out how they can own their own homes.
I know, Pop. I just wish I felt that but I just feel like if I didn't get away, I'd bust.
You're right, boy. You get yourself an education, then get out of here.
Oh, Pop, I think you're a pretty great guy.
Well, thanks, George. I'm glad to hear it. Why don't you go on over to Harry's dance? You'll have a good time.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I will drop in.
So George Bailey went to a dance. Is that important, Joseph?
Why, it was at the dance he met Mary Hatch.
Oh.
And 3 hours later, he was walking her home. George and Mary were feeling pretty good, Clarence.
Buffalo gals, can't you come out tonight? Can't you come out tonight? Can't you come out tonight? Buffalo gals, can't you come out tonight? Hey, dance by the light of the moon. Hot dog.
Beautiful.
Hey, you know something? If it wasn't me talking, I'd say you were the prettiest girl in town.
Well, why don't you say it?
Maybe I will. Hey, how old are you anyway?
18.
18?
Too young or too old?
No, that's just right. Hey, look where we are.
Oh, the old Granville house.
Yeah, I gotta throw a rock.
Oh, no, George, I love that old house.
Well, don't you know about deserted homes? You make a wish and then throw a rock.
George, but it's such a lovely old place. I wish I lived there.
In there? Wouldn't live in it as a ghost. Now watch this. Here we go. How about it, huh? Pretty good shot, huh? Broke a window, huh?
What do you wish, George?
Not just one wish. A whole hatful of them, Mary. I'm gonna see the world. And then I'm coming back here to go to college, and then I'm gonna build airfields and skyscrapers 100 stories high. Hey, Mary, what is it you want? You want the moon? All you gotta do is just say the word, and I'll...
Okay, the moon. I'll take it. Then what?
Then what? Well, then you could swallow it, and the moonbeams would shoot out of your fingers and the ends of your hair, and You think I'm talking too much.
Yes! Why don't you kiss her instead of talking to her to death?
How's that?
Our youth is wasted on the wrong people.
Hey, you come back here. I'll show you some kissing that'll...
George!
Hey, Uncle Billy, I'm gonna kiss Mary. Watch.
George, get in the car, quick! Your father's had a stroke.
What?
Well, George's father died that night, Clarence. So, of course, George couldn't go to Europe. But that fall, just as he was ready to leave for college, the directors of the building were going to appoint a successor to Mr. Bailey.
What was it that you said, Mr. Potter?
I said, let's dissolve the building and loan. We don't need it.
Wait a minute!
No, you wait a minute. Peter Bailey was not a businessman. Ideas without common sense can ruin a town. What do we get? A disconnected, lazy rabble instead of a thrifty working class.
Now, hold on, Mr. Potter.
Oh, I meant no disrespect, George.
Now, hold on there a minute. This rabble you're talking about, they do most of the working and paying and living and dying in this community. Well, is it too much to have them work and pay and live and die in a couple of decent rooms and a bath? Anyway, my father didn't think so. Well, in my book, Mr. Potter, he died a much richer man than you'll ever be.
I'm not interested in your book, George. I'm talking about the building and loan.
Well, this town needs this measly one-horse institution, if only to have some place where people can borrow a few dollars without crawling to you. Now, come on, Uncle Billy.
What happened, George? Yeah, all we heard was a lot of yelling.
Boy, oh boy, you should have heard George.
Yeah, they're in there voting us out of business.
Well, who cares? I can get another job. I'm only 41. 45.
Will you get out of here, George? You missed your boat trip. You want to miss college too?
George, we just voted Potter down. We're still in business.
Whoopee, we're still in business.
But there's one condition, George. They've appointed you to take your father's place.
But I'm going to college. Look, this is my last chance.
George Bailey didn't go to college.
That's right, Clarence. He gave his college money to Harry. Harry went instead.
But what happened to that good-looking girl? You know, Mary.
Mary went back to school too. George waited 4 years more for Harry to come back and take over the building alone. He could still see the world. Except, when Harry came home, he wasn't alone. There was a girl with him, his wife.
George,
Yeah, I'm out here on the porch, Mother. I just thought I'd get some air.
well, how do you like your new sister-in-law?
She's swell.
Looks like she can keep Mary on his toes.
Yeah, and keep him out of Bedford Falls anyway.
What do you mean?
Well, Ruth's father, he's got a wonderful job for Harry up in Buffalo.
Buffalo? Well, that means you can't.
Yeah.
George, did you know Mary Hatch is back from school?
Oh, yeah.
Give me one good reason why you shouldn't call on Mary.
Well, Sam Wainwright. Sam's crazy about Mary.
Well, she's not crazy about him.
No, now how do you know that?
Besides, Sam's away in New York.
Oh, and all's fair in love and war, huh? Okay, Mother, I think I'll go out and find that girl and do a little passionate necking.
Oh, George.
Goodbye, Mrs. Bailey. Oh, by the way, do you want any books at the library?
Library? George, you go and see Mary. Do you hear?
George? Is that you out there?
Oh, hello, Mary.
Your mother just phoned. She said you were coming over.
My mother? Just phoned? What does she mean coming? I just was happening to pass by, that's all. I didn't...
Well?
Well, all right. I'll come in for a minute. When do you get back?
Tuesday.
Where'd you get that dress?
Do you like it?
Well, it's all right.
Well, no point standing here on the porch. Come on in.
I don't want to be rude. I'll sit down for a while.
It's nice about your brother and Ruth, isn't it?
Yeah. That's all right.
Don't you like her?
Well, of course I like her. She's a peach.
Oh, just marriage in general you're not enthusiastic about.
No. Marriage is all right for a lot of people. It's all right for Harry, Sam Wainwright, and you.
For Sam? It's George Bailey, Mother.
You just tell him to go right back home. Sam said he'd call you tonight from New York, didn't he?
I guess so. How about some music?
Your mother needed, I didn't come here to...
What did you come here for then?
I don't know why I came here in the first place. Good night.
Good night.
Mary! Telephone, Mary!
The way you're shouting, you'd think that...
Mary!
You'd think what?
Mary!
All right, I'll get it. George, on your way out, would you mind turning off the phonograph?
No, I'd be very happy to. Doggone crazy song.
Hello, Sam?
Mary, gee, it's good to hear your voice.
How are you, Sam?
I forgot my hat.
Hee-haw!
What?
Oh, I was just talking to an old friend of yours, George Bailey.
Old Mossback George.
Old Mossback George.
Well, put him on. I'll talk to him too.
Wait a second. George?
He doesn't want to speak to George!
Sam wants to talk to you.
Oh, hiya, Sam.
Hey, fine pal you are, trying to steal my girl.
What do you mean? Nobody's trying to steal anybody's girl.
No, wait, George. I want to speak to you both. Tell Mary to get on the extension upstairs.
He says for you to get on the extension upstairs.
I can't. Mother's on the extension.
I am not!
We can both hear, George. Just put your head a little closer.
What?
We're listening, Sam.
Well, I have a big deal coming up that's going to make us all rich. George, you remember you told me about making plastics out of soybeans?
Soybeans? Yeah, soybeans, yeah.
Well, my father's checked into it, George, see? And now he's going to put up a factory.
Factory, huh?
George, I may have a job for you, unless you're still married to that broken-down building and loan. Oh, Mary?
I'm here.
You tell that guy I'm giving him the chance of a lifetime, you hear?
He says it's the chance of a lifetime.
Give me that phone.
George!
Now you listen to me, Mary. I don't want any plastics and I don't want any job. And I don't want to get married, ever, to anyone. Do you understand that? I want to do what I want to do. And you're not going to trick me. And you're... Mary?
George.
Mary. Oh, Mary, darling. I love you, Mary.
Well, well. So George Bailey and Mary Hatch were?
Yes, George and Mary were married. And they started off on their honeymoon in Ernie Bishop's taxicab.
Hey, where were you two going on this here now honeymoon?
We're going to shoot the works, Ernie. A whole week in New York, a whole week in Bermuda, the highest hotel, the oldest champagne, and the hottest music, and the prettiest wife.
So, you're finally getting out of Bedford Falls, huh? Then what?
That does it. Hey, you know, Mrs. Bailey, I haven't kissed you yet.
Hey, George. There's something funny going on over there at the bank. Looks like a run.
Pull over there a minute, will you, Ernie?
George, let's not stop, please. Let's go straight to the station.
Now, wait a minute. Better see what it is. I'll be right back.
George? George, please! George!
That was Act 1 of It's a Wonderful Life. Before we continue, a word from our sponsors.
Has the depression of war and spam got you unemployed and poor? Are you a total chinook? Are you in a jiffy to find a job? Are you a loser? Couldn't be me, but perhaps it couldn't be you either. Heidi-ho, I'm Mr. Potter, owner of this godforsaken dump of a town, Gorst. And I'm looking for one eager beaver searching for some extra clams. Listen, I love owning things and people, so I'm looking for an obedient servant to shine my size 18 killer dilla stompers. Make those shoes look like a chrome dome. I own everything. Why not own you too? Give me a call at 1-800-SHINE Potter's Shoes for Life, and you'll be cooking with gas in no time. See you then, you imbecile.
Poor George Bailey. Oh, he's certainly in desperate trouble, Joseph.
Oh, yes. George and Mary had just started out on their honeymoon when they ran smack into the financial panic of 1932.
Hey, what's going on, Uncle Billy? What happened? All those people out there.
This is a pickle, George. All I know is that the bank called our loan an hour ago. I had to hand over all our cash.
Holy mackerel!
Whole town's gone crazy.
Now, please, folks, now just a minute. Now, wait a minute now. Listen to me. Now, you're thinking of this place all wrong. Your money's not here. What? Your money's in people's houses, in the Kennedy house, in the McLaren house, and in your house, and 100 others. Now, what are you going to do? Foreclose on them?
I got $240 in shares. Now let me have it.
All right, Charlie. Now you'll get your money in 60 days.
60 days.
Well, now look. That's what you agreed upon when you bought your shares.
I got my money! Old man Potter's taking over the bank. He'll give you 50 cents on every dollar.
Then let's take our shares to Potter. Half is better than nothing.
Yeah!
Now wait a minute, folks. If Potter gets a hold of your shares, he'll be owning this building and loan. And he's got the bank, he's got the bus line, he's got the department stores, and now he's after us because he wants to keep you living in his shacks and paying the kind of rent he decides to charge. Now we can get through this thing, all right? But we've got to have faith in each other.
My husband's out of work. We need money.
I got doctor bills to pay.
I can't feed my children on faith.
Yeah, me too, George. Give me my money, George.
How much do you need? We've still got some money. Here it is, George. You told me to hold on to it. Would have made a nice honeymoon. Bought furniture, too.
Hey, now, wait a minute, folks. Listen, I got $2,000. All right, Charlie. How much do you need?
$240.
Now, Charlie, now listen. Just enough to tide you over.
$240.
Okay, Uncle Billy, give Charlie $240. All right, Ed, now, how much just to get by?
$20, I suppose.
Now you're talking. Mrs. Thompson, how about you?
$20 will do me.
Good. $20. Uncle Billy, pay it back when you can. Now, who's next?
Look at the clock. Look.
5 seconds. 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1. 6 o'clock, we made it. Lock that door, Eustace. Quick. Boy, we're still in business, Uncle Billy. We even got $2 left.
George, there's a call for you.
Give me that phone, will you? Hey, Mary, listen. Mary, I'm sorry, Come home? What home? 323 Sycamore? Well, whose home is that? All right, sure, I'll be there.
Clarence, guess what 323 Sycamore was?
His mother-in-law's house?
The old Granville house. The one George threw rocks at and made wishes. That's where they spent their honeymoon. They were still living there 2 years later, when old man Potter asked George to stop over at his office.
Sit down, George. Sit down. Have a cigar.
Well, thank you, sir.
Now, George, you're a young man, married, making, say, $40 a week at the building in Lowe.
45.
45. Now, if you were some ordinary yokel, I'd say you were doing fine. But George Bailey's intelligent, ambitious. He's been dying to get over this town ever since he was born.
Well, what's your point, Mr. Potter?
My point is, you're the only man in town who's licked me, George. I want to hire you. I'll start you off at $20,000 a year.
$20,000 a year?
Yes, George Bailey, whose ship has just come in, providing he has enough sense to climb aboard.
Well, but what about the building and loan?
Confound it, man! I'm offering you a 3-year contract. Is it a deal or isn't it?
No! The answer's no, doggone it. If you offered me $1 million to stay around this town and play stooge to you, the answer'd still be no.
George, what did Mr. Potter want?
It was nothing. Oh, gee, Mary Hatch, Mary, why in the world did you ever marry a guy like me anyway?
To keep from being an old maid.
I was gonna give you the moon. What have I given you? Not even a new dress. Gee whiz, I feel awful.
So do I. Mornings especially.
You could have married Sam Wainwright. Anybody else in town.
I didn't want to marry anybody else. I want my baby to look like you.
You didn't even have a honeymoon. And I promised you that you what?
My baby.
Well, Mary had her baby, Clarence, a boy.
You don't say.
Then she had another one, a girl.
Well, what do you know?
Night after night, George had come home late from the office. Things weren't good with the building alone. Then came the war. Mary had another baby by then.
Oh.
But she still had time to help out in the USO. Uncle Billy sold war bonds, and George's brother, Harry, became a real hero. Shot down 15 planes.
But George, what about George?
Well, George was 4F, his bad ear. You now know almost everything you have to know about George Bailey, except what happened that finds him down there at this moment, wanting to die.
Well, sir, well?
Well, today is the day before Christmas, Earth time. George was pretty excited.
Hey, Tilly! Eustace! Hey, look at the newspaper! Commander Harry Bailey decorated by the president. That's my kid brother.
Gosh, George, gosh.
He saved lives, hundreds of lives. Hey, gee whiz, where's Uncle Billy?
Gone to the bank, George. He's depositing that
$8,000. Good. Who's that in his office there?
It's that man again, the bank examiner.
Uh-oh. Oh, yeah. Well, good afternoon, Mr. Carter. Hey, Tilly, get the books from Mr. Carter, will ya?
Well, Mr. Henry F. Potter. Come to the bank to deposit some more loot, eh?
Look out, you old fool!
How'd you like the news in the paper, Mr. Potter? You just can't keep those Bailey boys down now, can ya?
Huh? Let me see that newspaper.
Here. Sorry I can't chat, you old thief. Gotta make a deposit. Here your horse. Deposit slip, bank book, and a very Merry Christmas to you.
But, Mr. Bailey, where's the money?
What's that?
You want to make a deposit?
Well, certainly I want to make it.
But it's customary to bring the money with you.
It's gone! Where did I put it? Where did I put that money?
A terrible thing, Clarence. Terrible. Uncle Billy couldn't find the money because the envelope with the $8,000 was folded up in that newspaper he gave to Old Man Potter.
I just don't know what happened to it, George. I just don't know.
$8,000, Uncle Billy. The bank examiner's here, and it's not our money. It belongs to the depositors.
George, what are we gonna do? I've traced every step I took.
Now listen to me. Think, will you? Now try and think.
I can't think anymore. I can't.
Where's that money, you silly old fool? You know what this means. One of us is going to jail. Well, it's not gonna be me. Now get out of my way. I'm going home.
George, dear, what's wrong? You haven't said a word since you got home.
With that banging on the piano, does she have to just keep playing that same piece over and over and over again?
I have to practice for the Christmas party, Daddy.
What is it, dear? Another hectic day?
Yeah. Another red letter day for the Baileys.
Dad, the Murphys got a brand new car. You should see it.
What's the matter with our car? Isn't it good enough for you?
I'm sorry, Dad. I only...
Run upstairs, Petey. See if Zuzu's all right.
Okay, Mom.
What do you mean? See if Zuzu's all right.
Oh, she caught a little cold coming home from school today. She didn't button up her coat.
What do you mean, just a cold?
George, the doctor said it was nothing serious.
The doctor? What? Was the doctor here?
Well, I thought he'd better look at her.
It's this old drafty house. Might as well be living in a refrigerator. Why'd we have to live here in this measly, crummy old town?
George, what's happened?
Everything's happened. You call this a happy family? Why did we have to have all these kids?
Daddy, how do you spell frankincense?
I don't know how you... Well, why don't you ask your mother?
Where are you going?
Upstairs to see Zuzu.
Hello? Oh, thank you, Mrs. Welch. I'm sure she'll be all right.
Who's that?
Zuzu's school teacher. What? Oh, yes. The doctor says she'll be fine tomorrow.
Here, give me that phone.
George, please.
Mrs. Welch, this is Mr. Bailey. Say, what kind of teacher are you anyway? What do you mean sending Zuzu home like that, half naked? Do you realize she'll probably end up with pneumonia just because of your stupidity? You know, maybe my kids aren't the best dressed kids in town, but at least... Hello? Hello? Janie, will you stop playing that lousy piano? Now cut it out. Stop it.
George, for heaven's sake, what's wrong with you?
I'm sorry, Jenny. I'm sorry, Mary. I just have to get out of here.
So that's it, George. You're short $8,000 in your accounts, eh?
Please, Mr. Potter, I'll pay any sort of bonus. If you still want the building and loan...
You say it was lost. What kind of insurance would I have, George? What collateral?
Yes, sir. I have some life insurance here, $15,000 policy.
What's your equity in it?
$500.
And you want 8,000? Well, what are you? Crawling on your hands and knees for help? Why don't you go to the riffraff you love so well?
I'll do anything, Mr. Potter. Please, please, help me. My wife and kids.
I'm calling the district attorney. $500. You know something, George? You're worth more dead than you are alive. Now get out of my office!
And all the time, Potter had the $8,000 in his desk drawer.
But where is George, sir? Where?
Well, he went over to Martini's Cafe. He's had a couple of drinks, Clarence.
Oh, God. God, dear Father in heaven, if you can hear me, please, show me the way. I'm at the end of my rope.
Mr. Bailey, you all right? Don't drink anymore, Mr. Bailey. Please, you don't feel good.
Bailey? Did you say Bailey? Which Bailey?
This gentleman is Mr. Bailey, George Bailey.
George Bailey, huh? And the next time you talk to my wife like that, she'll get it worse. It isn't enough she has the slaves teaching your stupid little kids how to read and write. You gotta bawl her out.
Get out of here, Mr. Welch. You hit my best friend. Get out!
All right, I'm going.
Mr. Bailey, you okay?
Leave me alone.
Don't go away.
Leave me alone!
Well, George left Martini's Cafe 5 minutes ago, Clarence. He's at the river now, on the bridge, looking at the water. Are you ready, Clarence?
All ready, sir.
Very well. Save George Bailey's life, and you'll get your wings.
Oh, thank you, Joseph. George Bailey, get away from that bridge. Do you hear me, George?
In just a moment, we'll bring you Act 3 of It's a Wonderful Life. But first, a word from our sponsors.
Ugh, all I want to do is go on a nice vacation.
Well, you're in luck, little lady. Port Orchard is the best town this side of the Mississippi.
Egads! Oh gosh, I'm so exhausted and in need of a getaway. But what'll I do?
Well, jeepers. Port Orchard will just flip your wig. You may recognize this town for its recent national debut as the tornado hotspot. And you don't even need that many greenbacks to go. Let's hear a word from our residents.
So many free shopping carts.
Port Orchard. I just say I'm from Seattle.
Vote no.
Port Orchard, I hope you love bowling.
Port Orchard, come on vacation, leave on probation.
Port Orchard, enjoy our exquisite Walmart.
Take a nice test drive on our pristine roads.
Port Orchard! Hey, guys, where's the orchard again?
Port Orchard is the only place you should ever travel to. Hot diggity dog, what more could you want? And when your vacation is up, you will just snap your cap at the fact that you have to return home. But have no fear. Port Orchard is in cahoots with contractors to build hundreds, even thousands more homes and apartments just for you. With people that make you go doll dizzy and khaki wacky, this is the place where you belong for the rest of your life. Plus, Exotic Gorst is just around the corner when you want a break from Port Orchard.
Holy mackerel, my bags are already packed.
You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Port Orchard is the biggest and best in the Northwest.
Numb with despair, convinced that he's worth more dead than alive, George Bailey stands on a bridge staring at the dark and frigid waters below. Suddenly, there's a splash.
Help! Help! I'm drowning! Oh, help!
No, that's not George. It's Clarence, the apprentice angel. And there goes George in after him. It's a few minutes later now, and in the bridge keeper's shack, George and Clarence are drying off.
You both sure you're all right? You want a doctor?
No, I'm all right.
Oh, I'm fine. This underwear, I didn't have time to get anything more stylish. My wife gave me this on my last birthday. I passed away in it.
You what, mister?
Hey, how do you happen to fall in?
Oh, I jumped in to save you.
Jumped in to save me.
Well, I did, didn't I? You didn't go through with it, did you?
Go through with what?
Suicide?
Hey, it's against the law to commit suicide around here.
Yeah, it's against the law where I come from, too.
Where do you come from?
Heaven.
Oh, that's very funny.
Your lip's bleeding.
Yeah, I got a bust in the jaw in answer to a prayer.
Oh, no, George. I'm the answer to your prayer.
Hey, how do you know my name?
Oh, I know all about you, George.
Well, who were you supposed to be anyway?
Clarence Oddbody, angel second class. I'm your guardian angel, George.
Well, you look like about the kind of an angel I'd get. What happened to your wings?
I haven't won my wings yet.
Oh, I see.
But you can help me, George, by letting me help you.
Oh, don't happen to have $8,000 on you, do you?
Oh, no. We don't use money in heaven.
I see. Comes in pretty handy down here, bub. You know, I'm worth more dead than alive.
You mustn't talk like that. Why, if it hadn't been for you...
Yeah, if it hadn't been for me, everybody'd be better off. My wife and my kids and my friends.
This is not going to be easy.
They'd be better off if I hadn't been born. Ugh. I wish I had never been born.
George, that's wonderful.
Wonderful. What?
The idea you just gave me. Well, you've got your wish. You've never been born.
I've never been born.
Exactly. I can show you the world, George, the way it would be if you'd never been born.
Hey, wait. Say, wait a minute. This ear of mine, say something in it. That bad ear.
You don't have a bad ear anymore, George.
That's the doggonest thing I ever, that ear.
Your lips stopped bleeding, too.
Yeah. Hey, what's happening around here? I need a drink, that's what I need. What about you, Angel? You want a drink?
Well, I don't quite know.
Come on. We'll go as soon as our clothes are dry.
Clothes are dry, George.
So they are. That's funny. Well, we'll stroll over to Martini's and then, excuse me. I mean, I'll stroll, you'll fly.
No, I don't have my wings.
You don't have your wings yet. Couple of drinks and we'll both fly, huh?
What do you have, fellas?
Hey, where's the boss? Where's Martini?
Look, wise guy. I'm the boss, see?
Okay, well, double scotch. Quick, will ya?
What's yours?
You know what I just love? Some mulled wine.
Huh?
Light on the cinnamon and heavy on the cloves. Off with you, my lad, and lively now.
Now cut it out.
Just give him the same as I ordered.
2 double scotches.
What about this place? It's all changed.
All of Bedford Falls has changed. You've never been born. Oh, there'll be lots of things you've never seen before. Oh, good. Somebody's just made it.
Made what?
Every time a bell rings, it means an angel's got its wings.
What'd you say?
Look, Clarence, I don't think you'd better talk about angels around here.
Don't they believe in angels?
Oh yeah, they believe in them. But you know, it's just,
Then why should they be surprised when they see one?
Don't mind him, bartender. He's just a little fella. He just never grew up. Hey, how old are you anyway, Clarence?
Well, next May I'll be 293.
That does it. A couple of pixies, eh? Go on. Get. Do you hear me? Get.
Where's Martini? Will you call him?
Stop asking about Martini. He ain't here and he... Hey you, Rummy. Didn't I tell you to never come back panhandling around here?
George, look.
It's Mr. Gower. Listen, Mr. Gower, don't you know me? This is George Bailey.
You buy me a drink, mister. One drink, will you, mister?
Pinky? Yeah, Nick. Throw the rummy out.
Oh, no, please.
Hey, bartender, that's Mr. Gower, the druggist.
That rum had spent 20 years in jail for poisoning some kid. Pinky, here's 2 more. Get him out of here.
Well, get up, George. Good thing he threw us in the snowbank, eh?
Where's Mr. Gower?
Mr. Gower doesn't know you, George. You see, you weren't there to stop him from putting poison into that prescription.
What do you mean I wasn't there?
George, you've been given a great gift. A chance to see what the world would be like if you'd never been born.
You're crazy. Now look, I'm going home to my wife and family.
Better not leave him alone, Clarence. Keep following him.
George, he's seen Main Street now, the way it'd be if he hadn't lived. The thing that's really shocked him, sir, is the building and loan office. Know what's there now? Pawn shop.
What's he doing? Can you see?
He's talking to Ernie Bishop, the taxi driver. He wants to go home.
Come on, step on it, will you, Ernie? Get me home. I'm off my nut.
Where do you live, buddy?
Now, doggone it, Ernie. Don't you start pulling that stuff on me. 323 Sycamore.
323 Sycamore.
Yeah, hurry up. Suzu's sick.
Okay, buddy.
Hey, look, Ernie, I'm going crazy or something. You're Ernie Bishop, right? And you live with your wife and kid down in...
You've seen my wife.
What do you mean? Seen your wife? I've been in your house 100 times. We built it for you, didn't we?
But my wife took the kid and ran away 5 years ago. And I ain't never seen you before in my life, see?
Okay, Ernie, okay. Just step on it. Get me home. Mary, where are you? Janie, Petey, Suzu, where are you?
This is just an old abandoned house, George. You have no wife, no children.
Where are they? What have you done with them?
There you are, Bert. That's him, see? I told ya.
All right, up with your hands.
Oh, Bert the cop, thank heaven you're here.
Now look, why don't you be a good fella and I'll take you to a doctor?
Bert, now Bert, what's the matter with you guys? Now listen, it's that fella there. He says he's an angel.
I hate to use my nightstick, but I guess Ow!
Run, George, run! He can't hit you while I'm biting him.
Ow!
George, run! My teeth aren't what they used to be. Joseph, help! Joseph! Joseph!
Where'd they go, Ernie? Where'd they go?
I don't know. They just disappeared.
I mean, you'd better find him right away. Oh, and stop biting policemen, Clarence.
I'm here again, George.
If only Harry were here. My brother were only back from Washington.
Your brother fell through the ice and was drowned at the age of 9.
That's a lie! He got the Congressional Medal of Honor. He saved the lives of every man on that transport.
Every man on that transport died. Strange, isn't it? Each man's lives touches so many other lives. Harry wasn't there to save them because you weren't there to save Harry. Don't you see, George? You really had a wonderful life.
Clarence,
Yes.
where's Mary? Please, where's my wife?
You're not going to like it, George.
Where is she? I'll choke it out of you if I have to. Where's my wife?
The library. She works there.
No.
She's just about to lock up for the night. So George, come back. There must be some easier way for me to get my wings.
Mary! Mary!
I'm sorry. The library's closed.
Mary, it's George. Don't you know me?
No, I don't know you. Let me go!
Mary, please don't do this to me. Mary, please. Help me. Help me. Where's our kids, Mary? I need you. Mary, please.
Get away from me! Help! Help!
Help me, Mary. I'm George. Mary.
Ah!
Clarence. Clarence. Clarence, where are you?
I'm here, George.
Help me, Clarence. Get me back. I don't care what happens to me. Only get me back to my wife and kids, please. I want to live again.
Oh, thank you, George. Thank you, Lord.
George, is that you down there, George?
Now get out of here, Bert. Get out of here. You come any closer and I'll let you have it.
What the Sam Hill are you yelling for, George?
Come on. George? George! Bert, do you know me?
Know you? I've been looking all over town for you. Where you been?
Hey, Bert, I'm alive again, Bert.
You sure you're all right? Hey, your mouth's bleeding.
It is? Hey, my mouth's bleeding. Hey, where's Susie's Christmas ball? Oh, Bert, I had it right in my pocket. Hey, Merry Christmas, Bert.
Well, Merry Christmas. Get in the car. I'll drive you home.
You will, Bert? Oh, we'll do that. And turn the siren wide open, huh? Merry Christmas, Bedford Falls. Hey, Merry Christmas, Old Building and Loan. Merry Christmas, Mr. Potter. Yippee! Come on. Hey, Bert. Come on in with me, huh? What's with all these people? These reporters? What? Hey, Merry Christmas, reporters! Hey, Mr. Bank Examiner, Merry Christmas!
Mr. Bailey, there's a deficit.
I know, $8,000, I'll bet, huh?
George, I've got a little paper here. I'm sorry.
I'll bet it's a warrant for my arrest. Isn't that wonderful? Merry Christmas! Hey, where's Mary? You know, oh, look at this wonderful old drafty house. Have you seen my wife? Where's Mary?
Merry Christmas, Daddy! Merry Christmas!
Kids, hey kids! Janie, Petey, oh, I could eat you up. Where's your mother?
She went looking for you, Daddy. With Uncle Billy. Daddy!
Susu, my little ginger snap. How do you feel, huh?
Fine, Daddy. Not a smidge of temperature.
Not a smidge of temperature. Hallelujah.
George, darling.
It's Mommy. Mommy's home.
Mary.
George, where have you been?
Oh, Mary, just let me touch you. Oh, you're real, Mary. Oh, you've no idea what's happened to me.
You've no idea what's happened either. They're on their way here.
Who? Who's on their way? Oh, it's the police department. I'm alive again, Mary. Oh, listen, Mary, I'm alive again.
Oh, yes, darling. No, close your eyes and come on downstairs.
What is it? Can I open my eyes yet, Mary? What's going on?
Now, keep your eyes closed. Now I'll just walk you over here by the Christmas tree and...
Well, there's people. I hear lots of people. Well, what is it?
Come in, everybody!
George, look. Just look.
Uncle Billy?
Money, George. A laundry basket filled with money. Money for you. Mary did it, George. Mary.
I don't understand. What money? What?
People heard you were in trouble, darling. These people, your friends, they've collected this money for you. The $8,000.
Charlie, wait. There's Martini and Mr. Gower. Hey, how are you, Mr. Gower? Mrs. Thompson, Ed, Tom, everybody.
None of us would have had a roof over our heads if it wasn't for you, George.
Gosh, this is wonderful. Hey, Mary, look who's coming in. Mother. Hi, Mother. Hey, and Harry.
I flew in as fast as I could, George. Got Mary's telegram.
Hey, everybody. A toast. How about a toast?
Good idea, Ernie. A toast to my big brother George, the richest man in town.
No, he's not.
Daddy, my Christmas bell. You didn't forget, did you?
Forget? Here, honey. Here's your bell.
Daddy, Mrs. Welch says, every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings.
That's right. Zuzu, that's right. That's right. Attaboy, Clarence. Attaboy, Clarence. Happy landings.
It's a wonderful life, so long as we can have such fine performances as we've enjoyed this evening from South Kitsap High School's very own acting ensemble. I'd like to thank whatever guardian angel whisked them up and put them on the stage this evening.